It is still a banger.
Fucking Blade Runner, Star Trek.
Yeah. Yeah. You do look like someone you'd see at like the Mos Eisley Cantina.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I have the window pushed over to the side enough that I can't actually see you in the backstage thing, so I had no idea you had him on until you came up on the screen. What's up, Ryan Isaac? White Boy Winter, that's right. White Boy Winter up in here. I've pulled these blue blocker glasses out of a box. I just discovered them, and I put them on, and I was like, maybe I should start wearing these. And then I discovered that as I wear them, the moisture from my eye makes it fog up, and it's not very useful for wearing. So I'm not actually going to wear them. Cooper, on the other hand, I expect to wear those the entire episode.
I might have to like drop down to one because it's just pinching my nose, and it's really annoying. Well, you see, and I just trimmed my nose hair, so they're especially pokey up in there. So
that's one of the great things about the mustache is that you don't have to worry about the nose hair. You can't even see it.
No, it's not about seeing it. It's about like when you try to sleep at night and you got nose hair tickling the other side of your nose. It's really annoying.
I don't think I've ever experienced that.
That's my problem.
Kate says I'm looking like Randy Savage today. Yeah.
What's up?
Well,
Kate?
welcome to Kingfield, you guys. I'm Matt. That's Cooper over there. And
hey, what do you think, Matt? Should I grow the beard back out? What do you think?
Why are you even asking me?
Because my wife is getting rather pissed off that I keep shaving. And not because I look like a high schooler, which I do when I shave, but because when I nibble on her neck, it's apparently like the short hair is all like the whiskers are pokey and they hurt or something. Like pathetic women, am I right?
So why are you even like contemplating this? Like, why is this even a dilemma?
Because I like subjecting her to torment, the torment of my little whiskers.
Yeah, you torment the ones you love.
That's right. I'm a sadist.
Mm-hmm. Do you torment the ones you love, or do you love the ones you torment? Because there's kind of two different connotations there.
Let me think about that for a second. I'll put on my thinking glasses.
Your face kind of looks like a caterpillar or something.
I think the former rather than the latter. I don't remember which order you said them in.
I said,
yeah, I'm a caterpillar.
I think the first one I think was that you torment those you love. So yeah, that's I think that's probably the better answer. So today we've got the edgy title,
I can't breathe.
Cowardice of the Cynics. And I think this is gonna be kind of a funny episode, actually. There's a couple of clips in here that are pretty funny. But before we get to the comedy and the
go to birchgold.com.
It's Boll and Branch sheets. Before
Patriots.
We really get into the heavy stuff, we're gonna enjoy some nice music.
Oh, dude.
I don't even care if this like gets flagged and like demonetized or whatever. We're just gonna listen to it.
Dude. Okay, Matt. Pause
It's
it.
not over yet. It's not over yet. We're a little over halfway. You can do it.
I'll point out that everybody in that room is white. That's the first thing. The second thing, if I see up at the top there, it says we're winning the culture war. If this would, oh, that was a brown guy, but he looked gay. If having to listen to like early like you know, like that hard rock from the early aughts where you had like those guys like Stained and Creed and Nickelback and whatever. If winning means that we have to listen to that music, I think I'd rather just lose.
I saw this because Oren McIntyre retweeted it and said the fire rises. I'm with random username here. He says, don't care if it's cringe. I'm jamming. Yeah, man, this is Creed embodies the American spirit.
Creed makes my ears bleed.
That means you're not a true American.
That's fine.
Yeah. What the hell was that? Someone just banged on something. Oh, Amy and Eastwood are back with groceries. I was like, why is someone banging on my door? Well, Emmanuel has a member for 2 months. Thank you, man. He says, free vanity chat before this gets nuked by the algo. Yeah. See, this is exactly me right now here, Cooper. Smoke cigar. You wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get it. You listen to whiny music. You wouldn't understand, like, strong masculine music, especially when it's set to a dance. I think you're muted or something. Especially when it's set to this nice Euro dance track, and it's a bunch of rich, insufferable white people dancing to it with their token brown man. You're still muted.
There we go. I'm okay with not
Boomer
getting
tech.
it. 2, I do not listen to whiny music. 3, I don't know, dude. Creed sucks. Fuck Creed.
And here, I never thought that I would be the one on this side of the irony.
I'm a recovering hipster. What do you expect?
Right. Yeah, but yeah.
And look at you. You're the guy who's being the hipster here about fucking Creed. You're like,
exactly.
You wouldn't get it. Cigar.
Exactly. Out hipstering the hipster. Out ironying the Zoomer.
Got your skinny jeans and your flannel, your Van shoes and your Telecaster. You're smoking your La Opulencia with your fucking Ray-Bans, feeling cool with your man bun. You're gay. I'm basically describing myself right now, by the way.
The irony layers just keep building here.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's like people liked Creed because it was cringy, and then people didn't like Creed because it was cringy, and then people started liking Creed because it is cringy, and
full circle.
Now Cooper doesn't like it because it's cringy.
I've never liked Creed. I have never gone full circle. I've just hit this sucks.
Yeah.
There was a time in like early middle school where what's that one Nickelback song?
How You Remind Me.
Yeah. That one's a banger. I'll say it. That one's a banger.
Thank you. You're not that far away. You're just, it's just a sort of a matter of minor taste.
Yeah. That's minor taste.
It is funny though, like the fact
minor threat.
The fact that we've got our buddy 2-Bit Jason, who has said that neo-traditionalism is coming back in, and this is where now, like, Creed used to be is like the redneck white boy music, the music that no proper wannabe elite like these people are, because that's exactly what these people are. These are all this is the what do you call it?
That's a good point.
What's the desert festival thing? I'm trying to remember what it's called.
Yeah, the Burning Man. These are the Burning Man people.
Man. Yeah, these are Burning Man people.
Yeah,
these are Burning Man people who are now embodying like Kyle culture. Shout out Kyle.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think I don't know what it means necessarily, but it does, I think, lend credence to this idea of we've talked about with the 20s and the correlation with the Roaring 20s and the sort of like traditional, like trying to take the old things and rehabilitate them and bring them like new creative things out of them. This is the vibe. This is the spirit of the age.
Mr. Gay Johnson in the chat says, I like the Nicene Creed. That's it, because he's a true hipster.
Yeah, my God, Buck is. Yes, the dad jokes just never end. Shout out Buck. I'm actually going to be going to lunch with Buck on Thursday. That's tomorrow. I'm going to lunch with Buck and Kyle
And Mr.
himself.
Cable.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the embodiment of Kyle.
Uh-huh.
We know a Kyle who is like the personification of the meme.
Yeah.
He's sometimes in the chat. You'll see him Cable.
Yeah. And he yeah, and we're going to eat where we're meeting for lunch is in Kyle. So we're gonna be
In
eating
Kyle,
in
Texas?
Kyle with Kyle, yes.
Kyle hears that remix there that you just played and he gets an erection.
Oh yes. Not a question. Not a question.
He's
Ryan-
coming to Texas to go see Tool. Like this is
Right. Oh man. And if he doesn't have a Monster Energy drink when I see him, I'm going to be disappointed. We'll see if he actually listens to this before then. He's out gallivanting around in Austin right now, probably being horrified. Ryan says, but isn't irony part of the goal of Burning Man culture? Sort of, yeah, but I think this is fairly significant that they're now embracing the cultural artifacts of their like sworn enemies, which is an interesting move to me. The fact this sort of thing has been bubbling up for a while, and I don't really know where it's coming from exactly or where it's going, but there's definitely a phenomenon of there's these aspects of like Americana sort of from the 90s and 2000s that people I think people are just kind of naturally yearning for like the last time that things felt good.
Yeah, back when things didn't suck.
Right.
There was I don't know that irony is part of Burning Man. I don't know if that's part of their spirit, irony. At least not in the like the Zoomer nihilist sense of irony. Maybe you've got like an avant-garde kind of thing.
I mean, I wonder if he could clarify for himself, Ryan. If
Jeez,
like,
I can't breathe with these things on.
I wonder if it's like, you know, really rich, plush people going out and living like hobos in the desert. Like there's kind of an ironic angle to that.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, they're kind of LARPing.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, so Buck says, I love that Matt and all of us are pretending we don't see Cooper being a weirdo with 3 pairs of glasses. Well, now we're not. Now we're actually openly noticing it. We're noticing one other just kind of amusing anecdote here, a little drive-by point.
Yeah, Ryan Isaac. It's not nihilistic. It's authentic. That's right.
Right. We create our reality.
Yeah, being naked in the desert. That's authentic. Yearning for the Garden of Eden.
Uh-huh. Like doing psychedelics and writhing around with each other. And
yeah, it's like my wife, who is, I think I was just
hair.
informed the other day that she has amassed like 60 houseplants or something like that. I haven't been keeping track, but she's got a lot. Like you go in my living room, it's just houseplants everywhere. You're like going into a jungle. And I think this comes from a primordial urge to return to the garden on behalf of females. This is why they like houseplants.
That's a good theory.
It's like, yeah, it's kind of like deep-seated regret baked into their psyche.
Yeah.
See, but if I do it inside this house where my man has built up all the walls and no snakes can get in, then I can't be fooled. So I can have my garden and eat it too.
Uh-huh.
No snakes.
This is actually a really interesting point, Cooper. Good job.
I have them every now and then.
Yeah. See, now the people are getting to see the part of you that I usually get to see. Mm-hmm. The part that made me fall in love with you.
Here, let me put on my heart glasses because I'm
yes. Oh yes. Look at that. We got another Kyle in the chat.
American flag because I'm a patriot.
Ooh, yeah. Nothing more patriotic than a pair of heart glasses.
And Blue Chew.
You're a patriotic bitch. Blue Chew, yeah. Heart glasses and Blue Chew.
This isn't actually nicotine mints, like I tell you. It's just Blue Chew. I'm just popping Blue Chew.
You're just walking around at full mast all the time. There's another Kyle here in the chat. This is our based fat Kyle. He says Kyle culture is life. That's right. We love our Kyles. We've got 2. We'll gladly take more.
We've
The
got
2
a
we
based
have aren't
fat
that
Kyle.
special. We'll take a lot of them.
We've
Yeah.
got a based fat Kyle and a based twink Kyle.
Oh, that's true. So what other profile do we need to fill out here?
Based soy Kyle?
Yeah, maybe base dad bod Kyle. Because dad bod is sort
Yeah.
of like there's fat and then there's dad bod, which is really more just kind of like doughy. And then
I think I'd rather be fat or a twink than be dad bod,
yeah,
personally.
yeah. Because at least if you're fat, then it's like you're fat because you're you're eating lots of enjoyable things and stuff, and you just are finding a lot of joy from being fat.
Like,
Whereas
yeah,
if you have a dad bod, then it's just kind of like you've given up on yourself.
Yeah. Like I'll admit that there is a part of me that's impressed when I see someone who's morbidly obese. I'm like, man, damn, that guy can eat.
He's committed to the bit.
Yeah. He's chasing what he loves.
If you are fat and you don't want to be, then we'll help you.
Cheeseburgers
ThirdPositionsNutrition.com.
and SSRIs and semaglutide.
I don't know what that is.
It's that new diet pill that like women are taking, and it's just making them skinny fat.
Oh yeah, Ozempic.
yeah.
The thing that
That's
like
the active ingredient.
disables their stomach or something.
No, I think it's like an appetite suppressant or something to that effect, but I haven't looked into it too deeply. But my understanding is it just kind of helps you not eat, but it also like it strips your lean mass. So that's how you're losing weight. Is you're not actually like losing fat per se. You are, but not like discriminately.
Mm.
You're actually kind of discriminately shredding muscle.
So it doesn't have to be that way.
It doesn't have to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you might be able to offset that somewhat if you do like strength training or something, but
share the analogy you were telling me about before about like layoffs with the body and the different parts of your body. You've got fat, you've got nerve tissue, you've got bone, you've got muscle tissue.
I'm going to totally botch this because I stole it from Dr. Doug McGuff, and he's much more eloquent than I am. And I'm sure he's also used this analogy and presented it many, many times. So bear with me, fellas. Something to the effect of like, okay, when it comes to specifically high-intensity training, what you're... like, okay, 2 scenarios. Scenario A, think of it like a boardroom. CEO comes in, and he's like, all right, things are going slim. We're not receiving as much income. Think of income as like energy input, that being calories in. Therefore, we gotta do some layoffs. We gotta do some layoffs because we gotta tighten up the belt, slim up here a little bit, and we can't afford what we're doing. So he goes over to, like, okay, in scenario A, he's just gonna do like a company-wide layoff, where it's just gonna equally proportional from the musculoskeletal department, from the like fucking
nerves
department, the fat department, is just
bone,
all of the department, the bone density department. You're just gonna proportionally take from all of them. There you go, mass layoff. Versus scenario B, this is the scenario in which you are incorporating high intensity training. The CEO comes in, he's like, all right, we're in a deficit. We got to tighten up the belt. We're not receiving. And we got to get rid of some people. We got too much here, too much bloat. And then he goes, mass layoffs, just proportionally from all the departments, mass layoffs. But then the guy who's in charge of, the muscle skeletal department, he goes, well, you see, can't lay off anybody here because we kind of need that because there's this demand. There's a lot of demand in this particular part of the business, so we need to keep people here. And he says, okay, so let's go from the other ones. And then the guy from the nerve or neurological department's like, well, shit, no. We work really closely with the muscle skeletal guys, and they're not going to be able to process, without us. He's like, okay, so we're gonna move to the next one. And then the bone guys are like, same thing. We can't lay off anybody here, or we're fucked. So then he's like, all right, well, I guess we're gonna go to the fat department, and since we can't do this proportionally across the whole company, we're gonna have to discriminately lay off people from the fat department. So think of it that way. If you are implementing a proper, such as the one that is provided by our friends at Third Position Nutrition, a high-intensity protocol, and you are in a slight deficit, you will discriminately burn fat, which is what you want.
You'll discriminately burn fat while adding muscle.
Yes. Or at the very least, maintaining muscle, which is what you want.
Right. So, if you want to work with this guy, or excuse me, if you want to work with one of our friends from Third Position Nutrition, you want some help with this sort of thing, you can do that. Just send an email to matt@hyperboreanlodge.com, and I will put you in touch with our friends at Third Position Nutrition, and we can help you out. So you don't have to be a slob or a twink or dad bod, or you can be an alpha Chad.
And you can leverage the power of autism in your favor.
Mm-hmm. Remember the Shia LaBeouf when he was doing he had his "He Will Not Divide Us" sign that he
has that guy really turned heel?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Like now he's the devout Roman Catholic. He had his "He Will Not Divide Us" sign that all the 4chan autists were like, we figured out where that is, so they went and they pulled it down, and he freaked the fuck out. So he was like, I'm gonna go put it over here in Europe somewhere, and it took them like 24 hours, and they found it. And so then he took the freaking camera and put it out in the middle of the field, just some random place, middle of the field, pointing up at the sky with the "He Will Not Divide Us" flag. And these fucking autists used flight patterns going overhead to figure out where in the world
and the
it
alignment,
was.
like the celestial maps.
Celestial maps,
stars. And
they went and they dug in all this. And again, this took them like a day.
And then they had
all of this. And then had some dude that lived in that area.
Yeah, would drive around honking and shit.
He was honking his horn.
We hear you.
Yeah, you're close. Autism is amazing. See, this is the sort of with the weaponized autists. If we can weaponize them and point them in the right direction, this is better than this is like puts military intelligence to shame. Yeah. Okay. We're on a time limit today because I've got another frickin' real estate class tonight, and I'm actually going to tell you guys about a little anecdote related to that to get into our conversation today. However, this was very amusing. I scrolled past this as I was getting ready to setting up for the show, and Scott Horton, you gotta love the guy. Lou Rockwell and Hans Hermann Hoppe kick Walter Block right the hell out of the Libertarian movement for being an unhinged, bloodthirsty Zionist monster and a very bad arguer. Quote, the Murray Rothbard I knew would have immediately called Block's arguments out as unhinged, monstrous, unconscionable, and sickening, and publicly ridiculed, denounced, unfriended, and excommunicated Block as a Rothbardian.
Yeah, these people are religious zealots.
Right. And it's a very long, very well written. I just sort of skimmed it, but essentially the thing that Hoppe is excommunicating Walter Block over is, let's say, specious argumentation in favor of trying to distort libertarian principles to promote what's happening with a certain tribe in the Levant, which is an interesting thing. We've got the German philosopher who is deciding to fire shots, let's say, at a Zionist sympathizer. I think we can get away with saying those things. I just thought that was funny, and I'm very glad that I don't have to care about it. So yesterday, I'm doing my continuing education for this real estate class, or for my real estate license. I got to do the continuing education so I can renew my license. And I'm sitting in there. The particular class that I'm taking right now is about residential mortgage loan originating. And I'm in there with about 70 people. And the guy who's teaching the class is this just precious old boomer, the most boomer of all boomers. He's got the worst jokes But they're all kind of like, it's kind of like, this old man and his jokes. What a character. You can't get too mad at him. He's just a goofy old man who knows his stuff very well, and it is one of the single most boring things that I've ever sat through. In large part because I'm like, I spend half of my day every day taking in copious amounts of information on lots of like technical subjects, and I listen to everything on 2x speed, and I'm constantly moving while I'm either driving or walking or working or cleaning while I'm doing all this. But in this case here, to get credit for the class, I have to sit here in front of my camera. I have to be in front of the camera with the camera on at all times, just dum-de-dum-de-dum, as he's walking people step by step through each of the things we need to know for the test. And amusingly, the way they teach is they're just like, all right, this here, you need to know this. This is going to be on the test. Then this thing here, you need to know this. This is going to be on the test. We've got a full, long textbook, but they're just going through and just highlighting the things that we need to know on the test. And we were going through this part yesterday where he's trying to explain buying points and how to calculate points and mortgage insurance, like how these things work, figuring out loan to value. And so it's mathy, but like, this is like maybe like high school level math and abstract reasoning. It's not that difficult. And I'm watching these people who are established professional adults, and you might as well be trying to get them to learn Chinese. They're completely at a loss. I can tell by the questions that they're asking that they're not even they just want him to tell them what the answer is and give them the formula, and then they can just plug stuff into the formula. They don't understand what the formula is doing. They don't know what each of these things are. They wouldn't be able to reconstruct it themselves. They're just, give us the answers so we can pass the test, so we can get our license and keep going. So I tweeted this. I said, currently doing continuing education for renewing my real estate license, listening to this poor boomer trying to explain buying points and how to calculate them to a bunch of adults, a significant chunk of whom possess the reading/writing skills of a fourth grader. It's not going well. And I had this thought as I was sitting here pondering this, because what else am I going to think about? I was like, is this a white pill or a black pill? Because as I describe it, I'm thinking about, we've got, like, these are the people who are representing people as they're buying homes. Like, the largest purchase that you're ever going to make, you're going to be represented by someone like this. The competency crisis is next level. It is almost reaching catastrophic levels. The average person today, I think we watch movies, we read about history, we think about past times, and we sort of have an assumption of what the average person is like. And even if we talk about, the average person's a moron, or look how stupid a normie is, the NPC, or what, but I don't think we fully, truly appreciate just how stupid the average person is.
This is a white pill, dude.
Yes. Thank you.
If you want to make money, it is so easy to be above average.
Not just that, it's so easy to be exceptionally above average.
Exceptional, yeah. That is the white pill.
I think a lot of us that we kind of spend a lot of time in these internet communities, and we have our different YouTube communities.
Joe Biden is like the perfect avatar for our society as a whole, with like the cognitive decline.
And I think we've spent so much, we get used to being around each other, where we've kind of self-selected to be, the people who can walk and chew gum at the same time. We sort of self-select and get into communities with each other. And I think it's distorted our perspective of just how profoundly incompetent the vast majority of people in the professional world are. These are not rabid, ideological, Machiavellian savants. These are profoundly ordinary people. They're shallow, they're unmotivated, they're weak. In the time of crisis, they will fold like a cheap suit immediately. But it's interesting, each time I say these things to myself, I realize this is a Rorschach test.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you think it's a black pill or a white pill that the vast majority of people around you will crumble in a crisis? It could be, you can make a legitimate case for both, which means you get to choose whether you want to be white pilled or black pilled. Both realities are true. You don't get to choose your own reality. And I think that's what a lot of people are hung up on. They're like, well, I want to have my ideal system of government. I want to have my established elite who represent all of my interests. I want to have every single policy that I want. I want all of them to be just perfect and perfectly implemented with people who are genetically closest to me, which is fine. Like, these are fine desires to have. But when that desire turns into something that just cripples you to where all you can do is just freak out about the fact that nobody is cooperating with you, there comes a point where it's like, okay, I can understand being depressed for a while when this sort of sinks in that, oh my God, everyone around me is an idiot. You know, there's no question we're going to have some kind of major crisis, whether it's because people are intentionally steering us into it or they're just too fucking incompetent to do otherwise. They're just bumbling us into some sort of major military conflict or whatever. After a while, it's like if you're stuck at that spot, then it's your own doing. You're the one that's choosing to keep yourself stuck there. For some people, it's the state. It's statists. Everyone is a statist, and we just need to get people to stop being statists. For some people, it's race. This is their thing. They're ethno-nationalists, and all they're going to accept is an ethno-nationalist solution, and anything that remotely hints at some sort of measure of subversion or not perfect purity according to their ideal solution, then they want nothing. They have all they're going to do is just be a peanut gallery, just pissing on it.
Like, dude, I don't think a true ethnostate has ever existed ever. Not as like they want.
Not,
like
not
maybe
in the way
you could
what
say,
they want. Yeah,
right. You could say there's some, like maybe a certain nation state in the Middle East that leans heavily in that direction in a lot of ways, but like even I just don't know how you avoid like, okay, like your cities at least. Are you just gonna have like cities have always been kind of cosmopolitan everywhere at all times. I don't know. Like, I guess, are you trying to have like an ethno state that's just farmers, like white farmers?
Which, okay, sure, go do that. But I don't see anybody trying to create that. I just see people complaining that it doesn't exist.
It basically does exist though. Like, think of like Wyoming.
Right.
You just move there.
Well,
you basically have what you want.
This is kind of like the people who complain about cost of living and they want to live in the 50s, and they talk about how everyone had it better in the 50s, and it's like, yeah, well, those people also didn't own refrigerators, and they might have had one car for the family, and they didn't have a smartphone. There was no such thing as a computer. Like, you could, if you wanted to get rid of like the vast majority of your current possessions, you could live with a cost of living that approximates relatively to a 1950s cost of living. Like, you could do that if you really wanted to. But people want the 1950s world without but they also want to have the benefits that are ultimately brought to them by global supply chains and networked countries, which means there's going to be immigration in and out. Like, so it's not that go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, you can take advantage or leverage this whole competency issue again as well, where if the vast majority of people are stupid, and even you're middling intelligence, but you're slightly red-pilled and you're smarter than them, that's all you need, man. You and 5 of your buddies move to Wyoming, you can own a town.
Right.
There's nothing stopping you but you.
Right. But instead, you spend your time complaining on the internet that that the entire society doesn't work the way you want it to.
Right. Instead of like just taking over a town and having your little wet dream, ethno city, you could do that.
So, as an illustration of the sheer, profound, hilarious state of the regime. James O'Keefe posts this video today, just a couple hours ago. Breaking video. Top White House cyber official tells O'Keefe in disguise they can't say it publicly. The White House wants to replace Kamala Harris and confirms President Joe Biden's mental decline. Quote, Biden is definitely slowing down.
No way.
I'm just telling you what I've heard. They're really concerned about it. I think they need to get rid of him or her. But no one in modern history has ever said, like, we're not going to renominate the president for a second term. Charlie Krager, a cybersecurity policy analyst and foreign affairs desk officer in the executive office at the White House, tells O'Keefe, quote, I had a meeting with Michelle Obama at Michelle Obama. Someone asked her, will you ever run for office? And she said, no, empathically. She was like, I've seen all this shit my husband has had to go through, and that does not interest me. Quote, at VP, at Kamala Harris, hemorrhages black staff. She can't keep black staff. They quit on her en masse. She will be the vice president nominee. There was a debate about removing her from the ticket, but sadly they didn't. She's not popular, but you can't remove the first black lady to be vice president from the goddamn presidential ticket. Like, what kind of message are you going to send to, like, African-American voters? People would be like, what the fuck? Like, she's a woman and she's multiracial. Okay, sorry. I got taken over by the character here. So I love the James O'Keefe vibe. Like, he is such a national treasure. He's in that, like, Chris Rufo category of guys. I think I'd probably put Chris Rufo maybe a little above him. James O'Keefe strikes me as very much of a goober, and perhaps this is a character that he plays.
I think he's just a little autistic.
I've had James O'Keefe and Charlie Kirk in basically the same bucket for a long time, and Chuck Dirk has given me cause to reevaluate my assessment of him recently. So I'm leaving open the possibility that, if I was to know Mr. O'Keefe a little bit better, I might see him as less of a reality TV show character. But this video, you guys are going to enjoy. We're not going to watch the whole thing. It's like 13 minutes long, but just look at the setup for this video.
I work for the White House. So you're pretty high up in the government. Yeah, I'm fairly high up. I'm good at keeping secrets.
Wow, James O'Keefe does, like, the gay thing really well.
Right? And look at him. He's wearing fucking glasses, and he dyed his hair. Otherwise, it's really obvious this is James O'Keefe.
He's like fucking Clark Kent, Superman, putting on his glasses.
And
no one knows who I am. Where'd he go?
The State Department and USAID.
So when you say it's like security...
Department.
So he manages two federal agencies, the State Department and USAID. He's a cyber policy analyst. He's inflating his he's a cyber policy analyst, and he says he runs these departments. I mean, I guess he runs, like, analysis for the cyber policy for these departments. But this is the executive branch. These are the people that like Greg Abbott is having a stare down with when the whole thing's going on at the Texas border. Like, these are the people in the regime.
Department and USAID.
So when you say security,
this should be a white pill.
Security, like
It is
protecting
the networks of the federal agencies that you give all your information to.
The mission is to protect information.
And we are like the president's voice when we go into meetings in terms of discussing and promoting the president's
listening to
priorities.
gay people talk.
Haven't you met this guy? Maybe you haven't. You're like living in central Michigan. You may not encounter these people all this much. But yeah, you can hear in the way that he talks about it. He's like a tech worker, a guy who works in Silicon Valley. One of these super ordinary, bland, shallow.
Well, yeah,
morons.
I was going to say my favorite bar. Cool. This is where we, back when I was used to be cool and played in a punk rock band. You play shows at this bar. They've got pinball tables and stuff. It's like a hipster bar. My place, kind of off of campus a little ways. Well, in the other side of town, the gay part of town, like the gay club and like one or two of the gay bars have closed down, or they closed down during COVID. So all of the gays and the Troonies have like swarmed to my favorite bar. And it's just this guy. It's just like 100 of this guy every time I go there. I just want to play pool or play darts or whatever. And everybody has a lisp and they're doing this a lot with their hands. And
Oh my god.
yeah, that's it. My favorite bar was ruined because the containment zone. This is what the government did. This is what COVID did. Is it like it blew up the containment site, and now my favorite bar is ruined.
So there's the black pill.
There's the black pill.
The white pill is like, these are our enemies. How can you possibly be black pilled when you have enemies like this? How can you rage and wail about being oppressed when these are your oppressors? TK says in the chat, I demand a more competent oppressor class, academic agent. Yes. These are the people who supposedly stand in your way, ostensibly stand in your way, who do stand in your way. These are the people that you wring your hands about when you bemoan the loss of your society. These are the people that your enemies are choosing to employ. This is not a competent organization. This is an organization that can masquerade as competent for a period of time, but it is going to be outcompeted. It's going to be outcompeted by something that is far more capable and far more competent. That's just how it is. This is not a guy who is a strategic whiz, some sort of competent professional who is some student of history who's mapping out game theory. And this is a dude who is really good at going to college. He was directed into going to college, and he went to college, and he knew how to, when they said, here, remember these answers and write these things down. Okay. So he remembered those answers, and he wrote them down, and he kissed the asses he needed to kiss, and, or whatever else. And
yeah.
And just he's one of the people that hasn't realized yet, hasn't learned yet, that college gives you a credential, but it doesn't make you competent. And if you're not competent, there's an expiration date on your status. These are not impressive people. And even if you want to take the ultimate cynic perspective and say, this whole thing is a setup to make you underestimate all the people in the regime. Like, they threw this guy to the wolves, or even better. It's actually been explicitly Zen popped out. It's actually been like, this whole thing is being coordinated to make it look like everyone in the regime is actually super incompetent. So it's going to make you feel emboldened, and they're going to lure you in, and they're going to trap you. If that was the case, there's one of the guys in our Discord, I just absolutely love the dude. I'm not gonna dox him. I'm not gonna put his name out on here, but you guys, if you're in there, you know who I'm talking about. He lives with these people. These are the types of people he spends time around all the time. He traffics in this culture, and he recognizes clearly just how stupid and incompetent these people are. That they are in a position of power is an accident of history, and it's not going to last for very long. I don't know what's going to replace it. That's what's up. That's what's up for debate. What's going to replace it? But then, if that's the case, then the question is no longer like how bad or evil or overwhelming are our enemies, and it's more like, okay, well, if something's going to replace it, then might as well go to work making sure that we have some sort of say in what that something is going to be. This type of organization cannot run competently because the people who are in it are incompetent. I remember I brought up on the show a couple weeks or last week or whenever we were talking about the Greg Abbott thing, and like Ken Paxton writes this letter detailing the lawfare. He's doing like true lawfare war with them, and he's asking them to go through all this legal mumbo jumbo, making them dot all their I's and cross all their T's. And a lot of these errors, mistakes, oversights, whatever it is, a lot of these things,
a feeling like most
are really. Go ahead.
I have a feeling that I was just thinking about this. When you say mumbo jumbo, is that like all that law school is just teaching you that language? I have a feeling like most professional degrees just amount to like learning a particular brand of mumbo jumbo.
Yeah. That's probably like
because these concepts are not that they're not that complicated.
Right. You're just learning how to speak the language.
Yeah.
And the legal the legal pronouncements, the letters that are coming out of the Biden administration surrounding these sorts of issues are so incompetently structured that I started thinking like everyone's kind of like, oh, there's this Machiavellian plan going where they're trying to outmaneuver Texas and bait Texas into something. And I'm like, I think these people are just idiots. I think they genuinely don't understand like their ability to comprehend legal nuance and economic policy and all these sorts of things is so low resolution that they genuinely are completely out of their depth. And they don't know it. They don't realize it. So they're just kind of bumbling forward. The greater danger for us is not that they have some sort of elaborate Machiavellian plan that they're going to lure us into. The bigger concern is that they're just so incompetent they're going to break something. And we're going to have to deal with the consequences of that thing being broken. But even that in itself is a white pill. Because in the times of crisis, the times of true crisis, they're a crucible. And the weak people they're the ones who go down. They collapse, they fall apart. And that's when the people of strength and courage and moral fiber, that's when they rise up. Every time there's a crisis, there's a shift in power. And our current elite are foxes. They're not comfortable with direct action. I was thinking about this. Someone can't tell if we're ANCAPs or dirtbag left. Keep trying, buddy. You might get there eventually.
That's interesting. That's a really interesting comment.
Uh-huh.
You know, I have kind of come full circle on a lot of the lefties as of late. Anyway.
How so?
Well, like, okay. Well, I've said this before, like the existentialists, the postmodernists, the postmodern neo-Marxists, those types, I think they did a lot better describing where we're at today than their opponents. Furthermore, TK says in the chat, there's a reason why ChatGPT can score above average on the GRE. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I remember reading an article recently. I don't know where I saw it. I probably just saw a headline on Twitter or whatever. So I didn't look into it very deeply, is what I'm saying. I did not fact check this. So I'm just going to take it and believe it because it confirms my priors. In any case,
yeah, that's what we do.
Something to the effect of, like, professors are having a hard time. It's hard for them to tell whether like a student actually wrote a paper or it was done on ChatGPT because their students just going on ChatGPT, write me an essay on this, and it's like, well, according to our grading rubric or whatever metrics, they should be getting like a C+. So you have people who are just getting. Now it's like, it's actually really if you can find a way to, like, I don't know, if you can like bullshit on some standardized tests or whatever and get some scholarship, you could probably get yourself credentialed really easy these days just by chat GPTing your way through like undergrad or whatever.
Yeah. There's a thing I was seeing people tweeting about that during
just have it spit it out and then go through, edit a little bit. There you go. You don't even have to work anymore. You can get the piece of paper.
There's people that they were running through like all the business records and looking at all these different companies that were like they're searching like the name of the primary person or contact, and they're doing like Shaniqua and Jaquandra and Daquan and just searching that name and getting a whole bunch of different companies that all have one employee that have some really generic like business description, and they have all gotten paid the PPP loans. They got $10,000, $15,000, and there is just walls of these, and they're all either female-owned or minority-owned businesses. And and they were finding people who were talking about doing this, and they're
in other words,
basically
you
like,
don't
"Hey,
need to be
man."
very you don't need to be very smart.
Right. They're like, these are our reparations. You know, we're gonna go get, and they're spending it on like lobster and Jordans and vacations, and that's like. But there's something someone also highlighted these people and showed a bunch of tweets from them complaining that Biden did away with this program. They're like, man, like bring back my nigga Trump. Like everything was great. I was going to Miami when Trump was here, but now Biden's in and he killed all of our free money programs. Like this is.
You said the bad word.
Timeline.
I think you just demonetized us.
I don't think so. I don't think that'll do it.
No, you don't think so?
No, I don't think they. How are they going to flag it? Like, you know, it's because there's definitely a lot of people who are allowed to say it. So they would have. I guess maybe eventually they're going to have an algorithm where it's going to be like identify with like vocal patterns that this is a white person that said it.
Yeah, or it'll like look at your skin tone, and compare it to like a color wheel.
Yeah. Jonathan Hemingway says this is the Charles Haywood analysis: a gigantic toddler roaming with an axe. Yeah, I think Charles Haywood is exactly right. I think he's been the most prescient person on all of this all along. But so Yarvin wrote about he used the terms red America and blue America, and
digital phrenology. It's brilliant. That's a new field. Get after it, dude.
Yeah. Go get your credentials. I'm gonna get a degree from what is it, the Digital University in Arizona. I just forgot the name of it. I'm gonna get a degree in digital phrenology and put that on my resume.
Yeah, random username says bringing back blackface to avoid the AI. It's like it's like those fake fingers that you can buy on Amazon. You know, so if you go commit a crime, you can be like, see, that's not real. That's AI. I don't have 6 fingers.
So this is, I mean, every single one of these things, like it's a Rorschach test. Every single one of these things is a Rorschach test. You can choose to see this as a black pill if you decide that you want to let yourself be hemmed in by a system like this, a system run by complete fucking morons that have no idea what they're doing. They're just in there getting a paycheck and watching CNN at night. So the thing with Yarvin, like he's not the only person to identify this, but I know that he's one person who wrote about it really as concisely as Yarvin will write. He talked about red America and blue America. And the way these things, at the time he was writing, they broke down roughly around the Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of State. So you have red America, who was primarily embedded with like the national security or international security, as the case may be, and blue America that was much more focused domestically. And red America would make domestic concessions, blue America would make international concessions, and this is how they would work together. What's happened is that red America has been almost completely politically depersoned. Almost completely, red America has lost the vast amount of their political will, their political power, their ability to actually be on a negotiating platform with blue America. And you can see this in the types of people that, like this type of guy. This is a blue America guy to a T. Even all the neocons now are like they're like diehard blue America, like fully bought in with the managerial thing, and they have their domestic things that their international projects that they're trying to sustain. But every single one of those things is just getting worse and worse, and they're massively unpopular, and everyone's got profound cynicism about them, and nobody really takes them seriously. And even the adults in the room who have been involved in that sort of thing are now starting to be like, there's a major problem out here. Like this stuff's not going well. It bodes very poorly for us. Children are running the show. What this signals is that there is going to be a reverberation. There's going to be a swing back in some sense. And basically all of red America has become significantly more anti-war than they used to be. Red America is now becoming significantly more concerned about domestic events, while blue America is focused externally. The power and influence within blue America is focused largely overseas. between Israel and Ukraine and all the things that are happening externally, and then the immigration coming back in. So we're moving in a direction now where Blue America is stumbling us into crisis after crisis after crisis, to the point where, like, these are the types of people running the show, and some shit's going to hit the fan, and eventually, and adults are going to have to step in for whatever the sort of crisis it is, because these are not people who can navigate a crisis. These are not people who can, whatever the crisis is. Some
peacetime leaders.
Yes, yeah, these are peacetime people. These are peacetime leaders. And they're governing in a peacetime manner. They're not governing as a wartime bureaucracy or a wartime effort. They believe all time is peace now. We live at the end of history. The wartime people. Yeah.
That guy, what do you say? I still can't tell if these are ANCAPs or dirtbag left. He also says, I've only been here for like 2 minutes. Well, welcome, friend.
Mm-hmm.
What would you, that's an interesting thought. How would you describe us? Hey, chat, how would you describe us? What is dirtbag left? Would that be like the Red Girl chicks? Is that like the dirtbag left?
I think. I don't know, really. I would be curious to know what the I guess the aesthetic. What is our vibe? I don't really know.
We're not ANCAPs. We're definitely not ANCAPs.
No.
Recovering ANCAPs, maybe, but.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to think it recovered, but
yeah, recovered.
It's probably, it may still be a work in progress. I don't know.
It's a lifetime of recovery.
Uh-huh.
We got to go to our 12-step meetings and.
I'm waiting to see if the chat is going to actually do what we told them to. We gave you guys some homework here. We need our answers.
Answer me.
So,
anyway,
what time is it? Okay, yeah, I got a little bit longer here.
Only 18 likes, 33 viewers. Come on, guys, what are you doing?
John Brown says he would describe our vibe as Team Reality. Hey, I like that. I want to be part of Team Reality. Neo hippie. Yeah,
hippie.
That's
insulting.
Fits.
I don't like that at all.
Well, if you're part of Team Reality, then you have to acknowledge the reality that both of us are some form of hippie.
I'm a hippie.
You're totally. You're not maybe not a hipster. If you want to disambiguate between hippie and hipster,
that's closer.
Mm-hmm.
I reject reality then. This reality's gay. Hello, Mr. Olafson. Good to see you. Anywho.
So a couple of points in the actual substance of what he's talking about here.
Is he going to be the nominee?
Yes. And she will be the vice president nominee.
Yeah, I don't...
There was a debate about removing her from the ticket, but sadly they didn't. She can't keep black staff. They quit on her in mass.
But with him, I know. He's got dementia.
Yeah, well, he's definitely slowing down.
Well, they know that he has those issues.
I think so.
But they're not willing to say it.
Shows it. And,
they're not willing to say it publicly.
And same thing with Kamala Harris. She's not popular, but you can't remove the first black lady to be vice president from the goddamn presidential ticket. Like, what kind of message are you going to send to, like, the African-American voter? How would you spin that? People would be like, what the fuck? Like she's a woman and she's multiracial. I think that they're really concerned about this.
But they won't say it. Well, I guess if they say it publicly,
correct.
That Biden they can't say it publicly.
No, they got to
do they say it privately?
Interesting what these people talk about when they think they're not being listened to, you know?
Yeah, and you can.
They sound kind of like us.
Through them. You kind of get to see the world that they live in. And one thing I wanted to point out with this is these people are reactive. They don't see themselves as the people who are on the front foot. And this is the point I was going to make with the Blue America thing. Blue America is the foxes. Red America, at least once upon a time, was more lion-like. and it's becoming more lion-like again. Blue America is the foxes, and you can see this in the way that they're like diplomacy first. They want to get, like, actually going to hot war, actually getting into active violence is something that they only do extremely hands-off. It's like, ew, yucky. You know, we're gonna bring in our select urban scholars to go and just rampage in the city. Never mind that the cities that we're gonna rampage and destroy are the like our own constituents. It's just like, oh, looks like we need some violence here, so ew, like plug my nose and go do the violence over there. This is the way they see the world. They see themselves as beset by the world. Everyone around them is a threat to them, and they are the reactionary ones. Which means if you understand that, then you can make them react to you. And these aren't smart people. These are not smart, clever people with a plan. There are people above them who are smarter and more clever and have more of a plan. But even then, they're still incredibly ordinary, particularly compared to people even 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. This degeneration thing that's happening is affecting the elite classes as well. If you listen to them, like if you listen to an interview with some major hedge fund guy or something like that, you'll recognize these are not like extraordinary people.
I got a good idea.
What?
Random username says, dirtbag is a cool slur, and I agree with him. So we should call ourselves like the Dirtbag Center or something like that.
He said dirt back.
Well, I think he meant dirtbag.
Was that supposed to be dirt bag?
Yeah.
The Dirtbag Center.
It's bait.
Yeah. I need to know what the dirtbags are. Like, what is the dirtbag left?
I think
is this
Red
like
Squirrel.
Vosh?
That's kind of... Yeah, Vosh. Maybe? Is Vosh like, isn't he like Rose Twitter? Isn't he one of those guys? Like a tank?
Yeah, that's is that what, you know, like what's his name? I don't pay attention to the leftist YouTuber guy from the Young Turks.
Cenk?
Hassan.
Hassan.
Yeah.
I don't think that's dirtbag. I think dirtbag.
Okay, Chapel
dirtbag
Trap House.
left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to trigger people.
I don't know if anybody knows what it is though. Y'all are post-coomers.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Is it better to be post-coomer or pre-coomer? I don't know. Like, depends on your perspective here.
Post chud.
Like post-coomer should be associated with a lot of shame. It actually is associated with a lot of shame.
Shame, but mental clarity.
That's true. That's true.
And we're the reality team. We're bringing you clarity.
TK says these people are 115 IQ midwits, and the peak of their ability is setting up Kafka traps. Right? Like so.
Not even good Kafka traps
with these. Yeah, they're getting worse and worse. So like the fact
they're starting to turn into like Rube
having,
Goldberg machines.
Which inhibits themselves. Like they themselves are being bogged down by the inefficiency and the incompetency, and so like everything degenerating and falling apart is not because there's like a grand plan to degenerate everything and make everything fall apart. It's because these people are legitimately this incompetent.
Pre-coomers are more energetic. That's true. What about pre-nut obscurity? Neo-stronks? I like that. Will Emmanuel. Highbrow chud.
I like our chat. We've got good people in here.
This is good.
There was I gotta get out of here in like 8 minutes. So there was something that it was a particular point I wanted to make about the reactionary thing. So them being reactionary, you see this in the way that it's always we're going to try to do everything through diplomacy, through legalese, through you saw just recently with Texas, like, okay, we're gonna start off by taking the diplomatic route, and then if you're not going to cooperate with us diplomatically, we're going to threaten you, and everyone's like, all right, yeah, go ahead, threaten us, and then they're like, oh yeah, never mind, just kidding. They're going to do something like depersonalized, like, oh, the liquid national gas thing. We're gonna make things hard on you economically. But what this means is they're not going to, they are constitutionally incapable of actually escalating to the level of physical force. They have to try to outsource it. But their problem is the people who are the best at providing physical force follow strength. And the more that these people need them, the weaker they look, the weaker they are. They're becoming weaker and weaker. And if this is what it's like right now,
So
imagine when this guy in 20 years is the senior VP of something, or he's like at some sort of cabinet level, the equivalent of this guy, and whoever's coming 20 years behind him is in his position. Think about how preposterous and laughable. Like, this is what the trajectory is. There is no reason to be black-pilled. Our enemies are not exceptional people.
They're upset that they can't import millions at the border because those are their shock troops.
Right.
Yeah.
And the great thing about those shock troops is, like, they don't care. Like,
yeah.
If they're like, what, you're going to give me something? All right, I'll fight for you. Whatever. I'll go, we'll go ransack a street. All right, fine, whatever. But these aren't some, like...
Yeah, they're not loyalists. They're not redcoats.
You're literally to the point where you're, like, fearing the fact that you might have to get into some kind of a military conflict with a bunch of third world guys who came in here because someone was going to give them something for free. Like, these are the people that you fear?
Yeah, these people are afraid of Tim Pool, says TK.
Yes. Yeah, right. You've got Klaus Schwab, who's like shaking in his boots about libertarians, these anti-system people. Yuval Harari, this like mastermind, evil like demon figure. If somebody popped a balloon in a room next to him, he'd probably pee his pants a little bit. These are... The only way that these people continue to maintain their power is because people treat them like they have power. And if you stop treating them like they have power, just let them hang themselves. And put yourself in a position, begin reading the tea leaves, watching what's happening, and put yourself in a position to benefit from the fallout. There's no question that whether the regime change happens in the next 10 years or the next 50 years, there's no question that it's coming.
You know,
and the new regime is not going to be a continuation of this one.
The saddest part about Texas clamping down on the border is, well, Emmanuel can't come visit us for free.
That's true. Oh, man.
Bummer.
That just means we have to sneak him into the country.
We'll go down and cut the razor wire. We'll let you in.
Yeah.
We'll sponsor
Just
you.
let us know when you're there, and we'll come grab you, well, Emmanuel. All right. Well, that's all I've got for right now. We have some very interesting things coming with the show here this next week. I told you guys yesterday we're going to be talking to Pete Quinones and the Prudentialists next week. We've also got another guest coming next week. I'm going to hold off on announcing it until next week because schedules can change and everything. But I think you guys are very much going to enjoy it. It's going to be a great conversation. Very much along the lines of what we're talking about today. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you for showing up and watching live. We've got, pretty good. We've got 36 concurrent viewers, 22 likes. That's not too bad. Those extra 14 of you, get your act together. Then subscribe to the channel. We're also on all the podcast apps. So if you're seeing this for the first time and you don't usually do YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, if you're watching it there, then you can find us on podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. At some point here in the next few days, I will also be doing the next installment of Mitch's Moldbugs Patchwork Live Reading with your boy Jason, 2-Bit Podcast. And we are going to be elaborating more on the civilization versus primal and talking about the necessity of us beginning to view this, recognize this properly as we need to build a civilization. We don't have one right now. We need to build one. You can go to the Notes from Down Under is his Substack. He's been posting the first couple episodes we've done there. And then I think that's all that I have for now. So Until next time, I'm Matt. That's Cooper. And you've been watching King Pilled.